Smoke in the garage. I spent a long time staring at this back end of this vehicle, afraid to make the first tack weld to join it to the frame. So I was a bit like an old man staring at a tree, working out when and where to put the first chop. I had no idea, well, I had a lot of idea where to put it, the first tacks, but I didn't want to commit because then it's final. So I didn't send this off to the sandblaster. I want to sort of get it on its wheels. I cleaned it up a little just so I could get a few welds on it yesterday, but that's where it is. So where these two marry up, this rail is thicker than this one, so that's why it looks like it's uneven. So this will carry down as a bit of a curl, and so I will leave that top there, but then I'll continue this curl down, and this side just doesn't have it at all, and that's all got to be taken away. So I've just tack welded it to the actual tube either side. I really wanted to make sure it was that way right, and I've measured this way, and what I did is I shone a torch through the center, through that, and I've got center marks on the frame, and it lined up perfectly, but I'd pre-measured anyway, so these outside diameters were exactly the same as that, so I knew that even if I just hit where the welds were, I was only within a couple of millimeters. So centered, it's right. Height, it's okay. I'm just worried about the angle back and forward now. That's my next step. So what I've done is I've just put jacks under this, and just adjusted them till these two met at the angle that I wanted. So I'm trying to follow this angle here, so you can see that, and I'm basically just copying that angle right there. I don't have a measurement. I've got a measurement that distance, and I've got all of these measurements, but as far as angles go, I don't have it. I'm only going on the accuracy of these drawings, where the mount is vertical, so it's a bit of a guess right now, but the further I get into it, the more little terms of reference I'm going to find. I know it's got to be exact, and I followed this top section here, seems to be a parallel line to the ground, and it happens to be exactly the same height as the tops of these frame rails. So I ran a straight edge from the top of that across, and it was dead nuts. So was that side. So that's what I went off for now. Obviously I'm going to replace most of this anyway, so as far as tin wear goes on the inside of the engine bay, that doesn't concern me, because fudging at a millimetre here and there is really nothing. That's not really important. What's important to me is getting the transmission and the motor centered so that I can change gears correctly. I mean, if that wasn't there, it would make it a lot easier. if it wasn't like an actual rod linkage, you could basically set this at any height you wanted, and you could have your vehicle sort of sitting right on the ground in the centre. But I mean, you could probably do it if you wanted. You could engineer it like that, but I'm just going as close to factory as I can here. So I've got a couple of tacks in it. That was a big hurdle, a big step. I know it looks rusty, but just bear with me, it's a process. I didn't want to take too much away. Like I said, I was going to sandblast it, and then to sandblast it correctly you'd have to take all of this away. I only want to keep that section essentially, but these are all location points, so if I started cutting away to get inside and sandblast it now, I'd probably run into a lot of trouble. So, and this is all an unknown for me right now as far as how it's all set up. So the more information I've got, even though it's rusty, it's better for me. So that's how I'm going to do it. If I was just putting all new parts together, it'd be a totally different story because they'd all sort of just match, but I'm putting that with that. So I need to keep as much information as I can so I can get the measurements correct. So anyway, the distance from there to there here on this end, there to there here on this end is exact. The height is the same. It's just the angle now that I can adjust. So yeah, anyway, I got it in there. Happy days. Sometimes these things take a long time just to get over one simple thing, a little hurdle, because you don't want to make a mistake, so you don't do anything and then you end up doing nothing. So sometimes you just got to leap in. I won't make it wrong. If this is wrong here, I will just cut it and start again. So I'm all about the measuring. That's what I like. It's to make sure it's all exact. I mean, I'm rough as guts, but this sort of stuff's quite important. So, you know, down to the millimetre to make sure everything's going to sit right. There's a bit of fudge room there, I'd say. If you take into consideration people drive around in these cars with engine mounts that have, you know, gone from being this thick to this thick over the years, there is a little bit of play in this linkage area, I'm guessing, through the fact that bushing or linkage that you have is rubberized, so there's movement in it. I think it'll be okay, but I'll just continue on. I'm going to lay up some supports now, just there, so from this point in, and just so this cradle here, another one into there, just to shore it up. Yeah, so I'll just continue on. But that was a long time to do 4 tack welds. Anyway, 5 tack welds. I'll bring you back.